Hello and welcome back guys. Today we are starting a new story name, Canon MHA Reacts to a Use, written by author Evan Primus _FTW, please go and support the author, the link is in description. Canon MHA reacts to a use. We see a certain person looks to his left and spots a black-haired guy with a man bun with a black clinical face mask just sitting there thinking of what to do. Suddenly a pink-haired guy with red eyes and a cat on his hands. Jax, got an idea. Evan, maybe just don't know how good it could be. Jax, just do it and that's it, plus is not really you who does this. Evan, exactly, I am not the one messing with dimensions. Jax, well Evan, sigh, okay I'm gonna do it, just shut up okay. All of a sudden a bright light shines revealing a cafe. Evan, why the F does this look like LeBlanc? Jax, Evan, Jax please Jax, okay chill. The light shines again and stops after a while. The light shines again and stops after a while. Evan, a pub. For real? Jax, yeah I mean he's comfy isn't it? Evan, Fate I can't say no to, but how do we get them here again? Jax, simple, just use his gift. Evan, you sure? Jax, it should work perfectly, he perfected it didn't he? Evan, fine, but if his ghost once again comes for me and kicks my butt, you're paying my hospital. Jax, okay, he takes out a pencil-like object and makes a neon-like symbol midair, this being the logo of MHA, then makes an X mark across it opening a sort of gate. Evan, while Jax does that he writes down 58 names and after writing all of them down, he throws the paper into the gate and that should do it. Jax, we have to thank the ghost of the forger boi later on. Evan, nah he must be talking with Hefe, let him be. After a bit the gate closes and 58 different people are dropped on chairs. Bakugo, what the hell? Deku, where are we? Wait, what even happened? Evan, looking around. Jax, we have all of Class 1A, all of Class 1B, All Might, Eraserhead, Nizu, Present Mike, Midnight, Ectoplasm, Power Loader, Hound Dog, Hatsum, The Shields, Eri, the Wild Pussycats and Kota and Izuku's mom. He throws the paper to the air. Isn't there too many people? Evan, don't worry, social anxiety will not get to me for a while. Deku, who are you? Are you a villain? Evan, DMN, I think the anxiety is hitting me now. Jax, Evan, okay no I'm no villain, just a guy here who wants to show you all some stuff. Uraraka, why is that? Evan, it just felt like it. Aizawa, and we're meant to believe in you because. Evan, because you're already in another dimension. Everyone, hold on, what? Evan, how to tell you I have connections with the gods, a long one to say the least. En Yuhia, Kurashima, wait, how are we here though? Jax, this shows them the pen, it lets us make a symbol that can connect us to other universes, and by writing the name of people in the universe we can bring them to us. Nizu, but how would you know our names? Jax, hits Evan's shoulder. Evan, oh yeah, I forgot that Deku's life is a really known story in my universe of how he grew to become a hero. Deku and Bakugo, for real. Evan, Bakugo, why the hell is he the one that gets a series? Glares at Evan, last time I don't remember him being in, but to any human being that breathes next to him. Glaring back. Jax, okay let's keep it calm here bois, I'm gonna try my best to be the rational person at the moment. Clears throat. So yeah, we brought you here to check out some stuff like alternate universes where, for example, there are universes where Izuku is the son of Aizawa, or other universes where some of you date other people than you may already date. Mina, am I sensing ships? Happy alien noises. Jax, many, just know that some of them have a sort of abbreviation, like, some are called Izuoka, which comes from two names of two people, which I can't believe they are still not dating after like 1 year and 10 months of being in love with each other. Looks at Deku and Uraraka, who are embarrassed as hell after putting 1 and 1 together. Toru, sounds like lots of fun. Setsuna, 100% agree. Mike, well we're here so we may as well enjoy this story's right. Midnight, yeah I have to agree, I wonder what kind of journeys they go through. Evan, trust me you will not be able to see some of this stuff, he's going to feel so unexpected. So let me start with my personal favorite, presses a controller and all screens show this AU I like to call infamous Deku. All of them look a bit confused and wonder who the guy in the left is. You'll understand in a bit. This AU I like to call infamous Deku. All of them look a bit confused and wonder who the guy in the left is. You'll understand in a bit. We start seeing a green-haired boy with a chain around his arm and a mask climbing up a building while looking around. A thought comes to him. I hope I come across a tear gas grenade. I'll need it if I want to use my smoke. He continues climbing for a while, making it look like the easiest thing in the world as it pans out, revealing that the boy is climbing the Tokyo Tower, Kirishima. Wow, that guy is climbing like is nothing. Aizawa. From his arms he seems to have years of training. Analyzing more. But why does he have a chain? Evan, oh, you'll understand in a bit. DUP agent, found him. In total 4 agents aim their guns towards him. SHT, he boosts from the pillar he was climbing and quickly glides towards the guy and ends up extending his chain, turning into a pixelated sword construct. DUP agents, they start shooting him. The masked individual hits the bullets and rushes to the agents to then cut them multiple times, leaving pixelated lines on their chest from said cuts. DUP agent. One of them got knocked out, but the other one punches the masked man away, breaking the mask. The mask falls off his face, revealing Izuku Midoriya himself behind it. Bakugo, Deku. Just when I was about to compliment it, Evan, remember when he asked why he's not the protagonist? Deadpan tone, Ida, but why is Midoriya doing that? Hand chops, Evan, wait a bit. Deku, well sure. Gets shot in his right arm. AGHF, everyone looks shocked by the fact he sweared and that he just got shot like that. Uraraka, Deku-kun, Deku. Oh, you're paying for that. Bullet hole closes due to Regan and aims at the guys in front of him as he starts to fire the guys in front of him with pixels and starts running for cover. After a while of a shootout, Deku is able to rush towards his enemies as a machine gun burst of pixels starts being shot from his hand. In a swift movement, Deku knocks out 4 guys and quickly punches 3 guys until they are unconscious, and even takes a smoke grenade from one. He starts rushing up as he starts hearing sirens from afar and only says, and things are only starting. Hell yeah. They all just see him running at a high speed up the stairs without thinking and only having a smile as he makes a new pixelated construct. He breaks down the door to the roof where he spots multiple support cables all connected to the DUP as he says, DMN is cold up here but I got no time. He starts looking around as the sirens still blare and he puts on the mask he made as a construct when suddenly his phone rings. Jairu, so much is happening right now. I am, wow, Kaminari, yeah, this is just insane. Nizu, what is this DUP group that Midoriya is fighting? Deku, yeah, I'm having the same question. Evan, I'll explain once this is done. Everyone, hi. Deku takes out his phone to see who's calling him at the moment. To see the number is Jairu's, which surprises Jairu as she sees that even in another reality she has the same phone number. Deku answers as he starts looking around, still smiling. Jairu, on phone. Midoriya, where are you? You're obviously not in your apartment because I went to give you something. Deku, on phone while covering his phone from air, have you tried seeing the peak of Tokyo Tower? Ms. Windy out here. Jairu, hold on, what? But I thought you said you were taking action of your plan in a week. Well, that's what you sounded like. Deku, well, that was the plan. But Delsin was able to finish his Kasiso pushing agenda was the next thing we did. Jairu, you two are insane. Deku, wasn't becoming a revolutionary already crazy enough in your eyes? Jairu, is part of your nature of be so rebellious. Deku, fair point. Jairu, I'm gonna get close to see the fireworks. Deku, just not too close cause SHT is about to get real, he says smiling. Jairu, oh that for sure. Deku and his call, and then answers another call where he confirms his moment to start the show. Questions were being more and more from part of the people seeing what is happening as they see Deku cut off some cables with his constructs. After this he opens the smoke grenade and absorbs it, activating his smoke powers, making many wonder if he has 2 quirks. Deku then goes to a receptor which he opens by using his chain covered in smoke, revealing a blue crystal inside of it, raising even more questions. He proceeds to absorb it as a rush of energy comes to Deku. Just as he gets a vision, only 3 words come out of Deku and his friend, N.O. F. Way. Everyone wonders what happens until they hear the second voice say, we're a goddamn KEM strike, making everyone get a bit panicked. They all see Deku take out something from his pocket and extending it, revealing a huge flag, making everyone remember the revolutionary comment from before. Deku then raises the flag in the pole, revealing a huge blue bird breaking out of a cage with the word freedom around it. Jairu, I think I got here in time for the show, she says as she smiles at the sighting of the flag slowly raising over the city as people around her murmur about it. Time to actually let all be free in this world. Deku all of a sudden starts stretching as he says, time for a leap. After this he crouches down releasing a cloud of smoke from him for it to then focus on his legs with a huge bright orange and black color on them. He takes a jump shattering the floor below him leaving a trail of black smoke behind for everyone to see as Jiraiya stands in a roof. Seeing this with a smile, Deku suddenly separates into 3 different balls of smoke as they start spinning around in the sky to then become one again midair. Deku all of a sudden starts stretching as he says, time for a leap. After this he crouches down releasing a cloud of smoke from him for it to then focus on his legs with a huge bright orange and black color on them. He takes a jump shattering the as everyone sees his smile and quick flashes between him and Delsin in Seattle. Deku starts dropping at an insane speed towards the ground with almost no sight of stopping any time as bullets start flying towards him, but he just dodges them. All of a sudden the thoughts of Deku are heard. For 13 years I've prepared for 13 years to finally give those with quirks a life they deserve. Fight for everyone, so that those with quirks can stop being oppressed. We're a minority and they have armies, then let me be an army of my own so that Jiraiya can continue living in peace and that any other that is to awaken a quirk does as well. I want this world to remember the name Izuku. Midoriya is the name of the first hero ever. It is all suddenly cut by a huge 5-kilometer blast that sent trucks flying everyone, leaving DUP agents unconscious, car and house alarms going off and the shattering of all nearby windows in the area. Deku then reforms as he walks away smirking and says, hope you learn to never lay a finger on my loved ones again, he says as knocks the lights out of the last guy present. He gets a call and quickly answers to hear a shocked Jiraiya who is shown to be smiling, and they talked for a bit but Deku realizes something. So someone got a liking of me, didn't you? Jiraiya stayed confused after she realized she called Izuku by his first name, making her burst into a blush and a panic. See you in your apartment. That's it. She ends the call as Deku shows to have a small blush and says, well Izuku, you surely are a lucky bastard. God, I love her too much. It suddenly just goes to black. Jiraiya, 2M in love with Midoriya, says with a blush of embarrassment while everyone is looking at her. Deku's sad face, I'm insanely bold in this universe, Evan, so let me explain. In this universe only 5% of humanity is born with quirks. Everyone looks at Evan shocked, putting aside the last thing Jiraiya said. Due to it being such a small amount, those with quirks are treated as SLV, trash, just the worst of things, and no one cares about the man. They are also labeled as bioterrorists due to them having powers. Everyone looks down after hearing this, making them a bit sad to hear the news of such sad world. Evan, if you wonder why there's no heroes or anything, it's just pure fear that caused all of this, just the irrational fear of superhumans. But Midoriya, after being pushed to a river on a visit in Seattle, he meets Delsin Rowe, someone who has a power known as copycat, which lets him copy conduit type quirks and keep them on his story. Personally limits himself to only 5 powers. Everyone looks interested about it as Monoma listens to it and realizes this is like his quirk but a bit more powerful. When Midoriya met him, he touched him and realized he also copied his powers, making him and Midoriya the people with this quirk, their main power being smoke, which is what you saw him use at the end. The DUP is actually a government-supported group which slowly became more and more powerful to the point they started to take over cities and abuse their power over those quirkless and those with quirks at the same time. But Midoriya and Delsin decided to rebel against this and fight the order they live under, becoming the first vigilantes ever. Jiraiya used to be quirkless, but in this universe your quirk can bloom when you're even in your 40s, even 50-foot sand. Jiraiya had been tortured for a while by the DUP psing off Midoriya, who ended up taking in Jiraiya with him for a while to train her and got her quirk, which is the pixels you saw, Jiraiya. So I wasn't born with my earphones. Evan, no, but you did end up training with Midoriya to become better and better. Do you guys mind a break? We have snacks if you all want some. Everyone, sure. Izukendo and 1B Deku. I can't believe I'm sorta famous in another universes. Bakugo is another universe. Don't let it get to your head, Evan. I mean, know multiple realities where this is the case, not just mine. Jax, correction, he has ransacked other universes for fun. Evan, UF or Setsuna, but what are we seeing right now? Evan, I want say more than 2 Jades in 1, Kaminari. What does that mean? Jiraiya, as much as I want to call you an idiot, don't really blame you. Sato, yeah, I'm not the smartest, but that is kinda confusing. Momo, maybe it has to do with someone. While the teachers just talk and try to think about it, Evan tries to get the video he needs about this AU he's gonna show them while Jax just talks with the people who want to get answers as quick as possible, but one of them realized what he meant but decided to not say anything to just see everyone's reactions to it. Evan, okay, I have it all you need for it, so may really not expect what you're about to see but just enjoy, Tetsu, I mean infinite possibilities, right? So let's not expect simple stuff, Kendo, he's got a point, so let's just be ready for it. Evan, just telling you that I will be showing you guys really light universes, maybe some dark but no cursed bullshit. Zero, if we think of the same when using that word, the stuff we're evading is like a cancer. Jax, from the corner dash, would you believe me if I tell you is worse? Kirishima, oh god, Evan, so yeah, clicks a button dash, I still don't think you guys expected this, Kendo and Deku, huh. Kendo and Deku, huh. Class 1A, eh. Class 1B, oh. Everyone else, nanny. Evan, silent boi, Jax, there is much to explain about this. Kendo, why am I wearing a bunny suit? Red as hell. Deku, what the hell am I saying? Inko, language Izuku. Deku, sorry but what? Evan, so here a summary of one of this universes, takes out a carpet. So in this universe Izuku is the son of both Hisashi and Inko. Thing is, his mother was the world's strongest hero, even more than All Might on his prime, and Hisashi was also the Japan's second best hero. Izuku was born with a quirk known as geothermia which let him heat up his body to generate fire and electricity, but here was the problem, his quirk was actually called a suicidal quirk. Everyone stays quiet as the mention of those words Deku, Momo, and the teachers put 2 and 2 together and realize the why. Momo, is because he would dry his body from water, right? Evan, mime actually almost died, and if it wasn't for a young eraser head being in his internship, Izuku would have died. So after this bad notice, Izuku was almost giving up on everything, but the support from Bakugo, Inko, and Hisashi, Izuku started to train his quirk from a young age up to the point it became the third strongest quirk in history, only behind OFA and AFO, just telling you all that canonically they already know of OFA in the manga, sorry for spoiling it to anime only. The more he trained, the stronger he became and more, but I think that you all may have realized I said, was, when I mentioned Hisashi and Inko, this is due to them dying 2 years before UA at the hands of AFO, who used Izuku as a hostage, making Hisashi and Inko to lower their guard to save their son and die in the process, and he entered a negation state similar to Koda's, but he blamed himself over their deaths. I should also say Jiru is quirkless and got OFA and she's dating Bakugo. Bakugo, hold up, the F did you just say? Jiru, excuse me. What was I thinking in that world? Evan, well, thinking right, cause Bakugo treated you nicely since he learned you were quirkless, he helped you and motivated you on becoming a hero, which ended up with you two dating. Jiru, fairly, I think I retract from my comment. Bakugo, so being nice can get you a girlfriend. Evan, you know SHT Sherlock. So now back to Izuku's life. While trapped on denial, came across a Kendo working on a cosplay cafe outside, crying due to her being fired from her job and cheated on in the same day. As a sad life for Kendo. Kendo, I see, she says, looking down, and Deku turns to her and tries to think of ways of helping her. This isn't really a scenario one is to expect to help others on, but Deku, being the nice person he is, still goes to help her in some way. Evan, but things kind of shined when Izuku noticed you crying. It was about to start to rain, yet Izuku gave you his jacket to warm you up and only told you things get better over time, even if it can take an eternity. Something will change your life for good. He left and only told you to keep the jacket and that maybe one day she can give it back to him. This helped Kendo, even not much. It made her feel safer at the moment. Months later, after Izuku decided to go into general studies, he ended up seeing Kendo in the crowd while on the presentation for the sports festival, and after how a certain blonde was treating him. Yes, Monoma, you are the bad guy hero. Well, this makes Izuku want to join the hero course to help you out and to finally go back to his dream of being a hero. After remembering the words he told Kendo, he ends up betting with Aizawa that if he doesn't get first place in the festival, he gets kicked out of UA, and if he wins, he gets into the hero course with Shinsa. Let's just say he did not give second chances to everyone. Izuku just went all out and got first place in the sports festival, and due to how powerful he already is, he just chills with the class, helping them with anything but mainly spends time with Kendo while teasing her and annoying her once in a willy. As far as I know, this AU ended up with Izuku facing Shigaraki alone and completely obliterating himself in the process. After confessing to Kendo, he genuinely almost died from this, but he has a certain stimga all Izuku's carry, AM and Aizawa. Selflessness. Evan, yeep, Kendo, is there more for us to know about this world? Not that I'm pushing it or anything, but Evan, calm down, there isn't much for you to worry, though I have this other life to show you all which is quite interesting. Now tell me, what do you think when you think of Midoriya and how he's nowadays? Most people were a bit confused by the question, but some kinda catched up to it as they wonder about this question a bit deeper, but one of the teachers decided to speak up. Nizu, Midoriya was an underdog in Class 1A, he was the one with most struggles due to the little quirk control he counted with but slowly became stronger. Evan nods to him confirming Nizu gave the right answer, but I mean everyone expected this from the rat god of UA. Evan turned to Jax, who is looking for a picture but can't seem to find one about this, so he just tells Evan to just show them about this world. Evan just sighed a bit disappointed by the fact he can't find a picture for this but decided to just talk. Evan, so what you guys are about to see might not seem too different for everyone, but the catch here is simple. In this, Izuku didn't finish in Class 1A, everyone realized in just seconds what this means. He ended in Class 1B, Tetsu, but how? Kamakiri, what? Evan, well if you guys didn't know, Deku, I only made it in with rescue points, so I'm guessing the reason behind me ending the race cause they gave me less point. Evan, the caterpillar didn't give you points and some gave you less than All Might and Nizu cause they thought you'll just hurt yourself. This triggered you a bit, but in the sports festival you shoot everyone because you learned full cowling in the spot. Deku, wait, I learned full cowling earlier. Evan, YEA. It was awesome. You won against Todoroki and Ida had given up because of certain events. Ida, so that didn't change. He looks down. Evan, I'm sorry Ida, but from the many universes I've seen, not in many does your brother not get paralyzed. There's even some where Midoriya had to witness you be killed in front of him. He looks away murmuring the last part even though he knew some were going to hear it, but those who heard it only stayed silent in shock knowing this. Evan, well, the reason you were able to figure out full cowling was due to Kaibara's quirk and how he can spin his body, the how Kaminari spreads lightning throughout his body and other stuff. This lead to this. Clicks a button and the screen starts showing a video, present mic, and now we're here, ladies and gentlemen. The final duel of the day. The fight of an underdog versus the top. We have Izuku Midoriya from Class 1B versus Katsuki Bakugo from Class 1A. A duel between classes and a clash like no other. Aizawa, lower your DMN voice mic. Everyone sees Midoriya walking out to the fight with bandages in both of his arms with a face filled of tiredness and doubt, while many cheer him, others scream for him to drop and to stop for once trying to demoralize him. Deku watches this as he thinks back to middle school and how he was treated and how the crowd is just the same as them, with many noticing Deku's face. Bakugo comes out as everyone praises him and screams for him to win while he has a smirk on his face as he just wants to beat Midoriya. All he says is, "You're going to die today, nerd, I assure you that," he says as he cracks explosions on his palms. Why everyone like this? Setsuna, all the hate is aimed to Midoriya. Bakugo, sad face. Some of those who scream they are from middle school. Uraraka, why are the teachers letting things be so cruel against him? Evan, Midoriya requested them to do it. Everyone looks at Evan confused as to why he would let this happen. Why would he tell the teachers to just badmouth him? Eri, but why are they saying that stuff of Mr. Deku? Evan, is a rough line to talk about. Midnight, sad face kid, why are you still letting all of this happen to you? She thought, worried about his student. Bakugo, are you ready? Bakugo, hell yeah I am, I'm always ready to beat my punching bag. Bakugo and Deku flinch after listening to this as Deku's memories once again go deeper, but it doesn't let it get the best of him as he wants to know what the other him has planned. Midnight, Midoriya, are you ready? Deku, he closes his eyes and nods. Midnight, her eyes widen as she sees him close his eyes now knowing he has a plan. The camera then pans to Class 1B whose faces are worried due to their friend's condition. Monoma, we shouldn't have listened to him. Bakugo is going to kill him if he doesn't stop. Kendo, if he breaks his arms, Bakugo will target him easily. Kaibara, not to put aside the obvious hate Bakugo has for him, won't stop beating Midoriya even if he goes unconscious, he says looking down. Kendo, sad face, don't you dare die on me Midoriya, there's still much I want to know of you, she says with a worried face over his friend who saved her in the past from a villain which is quickly shown in a memory war. Midoriya took a stab on the chest for her and still fought the villain to keep her safe. Everyone in the pub looks in shock to the quick images of a covered Midoriya fighting a group of thugs, and by the looks of it and the place he is at, Deku deduces this was during his training time with All Might at the beach. All they could see was Midoriya's smile that covers the pain as he says, "Are you okay? Kendo, please Midoriya don't get more hurt," she says as some tears run down her face. Midnight quickly starts counting down with her hand shaking a bit as she really doesn't want Midoriya to be more hurt. Midoriya has treated her like a person and she's been like a mother, which quickly flashes a memory of him and Midnight talking, "You really became like the mother I never got to meet. It's sad, but I am glad that out of anyone, that you're my stepmother." The Midnight at the pub stares surprised to hear that. She's Midoriya's stepmother in this universe, as Inko looks a bit confused but sad at hearing she didn't got to be there for this. Deku. As Midnight drops her hand confirming the match started, Bakugo rushes to Midoriya, whose eyes are still closed, while Bakugo only screams at Midoriya, calling him Deku. And he rushes at him with a sadistic smile. Ibra started praying for him, Kurwaro looked away, Monoma could only close his eyes, Tetsu just stays there a bit sad, and Kendo continues tearing up as to what's about to happen. "Hisashi, you don't need to make me proud. Izuku, you have been given the chance to make your dream come true, so I want you to do it. Give it your all and never give up. Become a hero that can save everyone with a smile. Become your own hero." He pats a younger Midoriya's head revealing his face, and show them what your Deku truly mean. Inko's and Deku's eyes widen as Inko sees how Hisashi looks exactly like she remembers, and Deku could only see how his father looks like for the first time ever. With everyone also just sees the perfect resemblance between him and Deku. Inko, it truly is him. An explosion goes off as a cordon of smoke is rose by the explosion, and everyone just looks at it with Kendo almost breaking into tears until the noise of air pressure is heard as everything around him cleans of, revealing Midoriya holding Bakugo's arm as the red lines start covering his body. "Deku, you call me Deku all the time, calling me useless, treating me like trash, but I will tell you this, Kakanmy Deku will no longer mean useless." The green lightning of OFA starts glowing from Midoriya as a smile comes from him and he uppercuts Bakugo in the jaw. "My Deku will be the name of a hero that never surrenders." Everyone in the crowd falls in silence as they see Midoriya punch Bakugo away from him as he rolls to the other side of the Colosseum, and everyone just looks at him. Midnight stays there in shock seeing his stepson using his quirk and being okay. Class 1B just looks is awe to their friend, but one of them looks at him in relief and a smile of calm and happiness, still with tears as she sees Midoriya is okay, this being Kendo. "Deku, now let me show you Kaken." Midoriya gets in position as he charges OFA up to 8%, feeling his body cracking a bit and his bandages coming off revealing scars across his arms. Midoriya gets in position as he charges OFA up to 8%, feeling his body cracking a bit and his bandages coming off revealing scars across his arms, what the unbreakable wool of a late bloomer looks like. Screen goes to black. Everyone in the pub was shocked and amazed to the sighting. Kirishima, "Whoa, Kaibara, Midoriya sure is amazing. Yui, sugoi, am. It doesn't matter how different this worlds are. Young Midoriya never ceases to amaze me." Everyone starts complimenting Midoriya's actions while Deku is still shocked by seeing the face of his dad for the first time in his life. It is just pure disbelief for him that in this world he grew up with his father and not his mother, which still makes him sad. "Jax, I think you should explain the more of this Uraraka, AU. Jax, short for alternate universe, Evan, and many other call it like that cuz is easier." Uraraka, I see, Evan, okay, so this is what I will say about this AU. In this story, Inko died giving BRTH to Midoriya, and before you ask why I call him different ways is so that you don't confuse this Deku with others. Well, Inko died giving BRTH to Midoriya, and Hisashi took care of Midoriya with a lot of love and some sadness in his heart, as Midoriya reminded him a lot of Inko in attitude and more when he was marked as quirkless. A certain someone started to be in but to him, and he was like that for the next 10 years towards him, with Hisashi taking notice of this but not wanting to push it and end up hurting him. When Midoriya was 12 years old, Hisashi married with Midnight, and Midoriya didn't know how to feel about it at first cause he never had a mother, so it just felt awkward and weird for him at first. 1 year later, Midoriya had what is simply known as the Sludge Villian incident, where he met All Might and he got OFA. After the training, I think it was 6 months into training, when Midoriya met Kendo in a villain situation and he fought the villains alone while the heroes just stood there seeing him fight off on his own, he then was taken to the hospital to be taken care of and actually praised by his actions by some, while the heroes that were present there were railing on him for doing so until All Might stopped them and defended Midoriya. From here Midoriya just continued training and didn't meet Kendo until the entrance exam, where he once again saved her from the 0-pointer. From here on, Midoriya is part of Class 1B, getting a lot of help and assistance from his classmates to become better heroes and helping him with his emotional problems he has, while also showing he has a future as the next #1 hero. Everyone genuinely looks at this story with a lot of interest, as they do not expected Deku's life to be more complicated until one realized something. Kendo, hold on, am I in love with Midoriya in this story? Evan, I mean, after treating you like a person, saving you and helping you, it seems comprehensible you fell in love with him. Funny thing is that they tried to change Midoriya to Class 1A, but he rejected it, saying that he has found much more in Class 1B than anything, as there he found the love of and great friends that don't mind his antiques, and he feels as if they were the family and friends that only seemed like something possible on a dream. Kirishima, man, this is making me feel sad. Tearing up a bit. Tetsu, I would have accepted you no matter what. Midoriya, hugging him tightly. Deku, oh ow, Reiko, it seems like Midoriya's life before UA is never easy. Hatsum, she's right, I didn't knew my partner in crime had gone through it so much, but I'm glad he's still willing to help me. Deku, anything for others, he says with a smile on his face. Airy. Mr. Deku has always been cool even before he had a quirk. Kota, she's right, looking away, covering his eyes. Mandalay, well, someone is embarrassed of showing his fanboy side. Kota, and no, I'm not, looking away, blushing from embarrassment. Ragdoll, well, your shoes say different, point at them. Kota quickly hides his shoes, but some notice they look like Deku's. Why, but I suddenly felt like doing this series. Some of this ideas can be grabbed and written BTW. Some are really good stories that I think are bad ideas to let them go to waste as just this mini-series inside another series. So if you are to use one of these ideas, a link to check them out is all I want. Laughing face. Quirk World Arsenal Kaminari, man, this last stories have been amazing to see. Zero, yeah, I can't lie, they are amazing to see. Evan, glad to see you guys think this. Smiling under his mask. Deku, Evansram. Evan, just Evan, I am like 2 years older than you. Deku, excuse me. Jax, no need to question it, man. Deku, why yeah. Okay, now this feel weird. Why are you wearing a mask? Evan, oh, this is because the Earth in my universe experienced a pandemic a while ago. We're all recovering well, but I still wear mask for security. Deku, I see. Jax, hey, what should we show them next? Evan, Hamid, I was thinking the same. Jax, oh, I know. Hits his palm in excitement. Evan, which one? Jax, Quirk World Arsenal. Evan, why did I not think of that? Everyone turns to Evan as he plays a video in the screen. Jairu, what are we seeing? Evan, possibly one of the craziest AUs I personally have seen. Also be careful cause there's too much chaos in it. We see Izuku walking somewhere while stretching a bit in a really tight shirt while wearing some gloves. Deku, okay, just a bit more to the exam. This is going to either be a pain in the back or just something really good. A voice suddenly echoes in his head. You know, kid, this would really not be much for you. You should be careful still. Deku's sad face. I know, All Might, is just that I can't stop trying to find a way to use OFA properly. Well, compared to me, OFA has become 3 times more powerful than in my time, so for starters you should use it carefully. Deku's sad face. Hi, why am I like a ghost voice? Am I dead? Evan, I will not spoil much, just watch it. Deku starts looking around wondering something in particular but decides to not ask much about it. He continues waiting for a bit as he sees around and sees some of the students with weapons of all sorts as he mumbles to himself about them while wondering what their quirks really are, as some weapons don't really combine with the quirk of someone. Deku's sad face. From the 60 students in my ground, only 16 have armed quirks. Everyone in the pub stays there confused, wondering what this means. Deku's sad face. There may actually be more, but they may have not summoned their weapons yet. But I wonder how Power is doing. Probably massacre the robots on her way. Hell, I think she destroyed the 0-pointer. She's just 2 DMN strong. I actually feel like a stupid rival for her the more I think of it. Suddenly the doors start opening and Izuku has a flashback to his multiple sparring with who seems to be a younger All Might on his early 30s, a girl with red horns and cross eyes with a red weapon rushing at Izuku, and the sludge villain incident. None of them waited for him, so why would they need to wait for him to rush in? Midnight, who were those? Surprised by both people, present Mike, it looked like All Might back on his starting years. Does All Might have a son on this world? Bakugo, who the hell was that girl with horns? How the hell is she a rival with the nerd? Momo, he really just sent us here blind, but it makes it the more interesting if you ask me. Mina, nods agree, as Izuku rushes in, he sees robots ready to attack him but using just his bare hands and no quirk while wearing his gloves, piercing the robots with some struggle and even using what seems to be capoeira and a mix of break dance to fight off the robots. Everyone in the pub looks in shock at Izuku's movement as he continues jumping from building to building without a quirk, just being amazing at it, this being because he has parkour training for over 7 years. As he continues throughout the exam, getting more tired and tired as time goes, Izuku's insanely well-looking body is exposed for everyone to see. Mina, DMNBOI Midori is packing HEAT. Blushing a bit at the sight of his body, Uraraka, oh this is too much for me, as red as a tomato while trying to catch some air. Midnight and Setsuna, lick their lips with a small blush dash, talk about a full meal. Kaminari, man I was already jealous of Midori, I think I'm too jealous as of now. Zero, looking around dash, oh DMN I think I lost my straightness. Deku, just listening to this while he has his hands together dash, I should not let them know I look like that under my loose shirts. Then, Izuku starts looking around as he wonders what may be happening at the moment, as he feels as if something was off in the moment. Just as he was thinking a huge crashing noise is heard from afar and a giant cloud of smoke is risen, as in it a cloud of smoke can be seen 2 red color eyes, which quickly started a panic amongst the students as they run away as quick as possible. Izuku only stares at it as one thought comes to his mind. Deku, something is off about this robot, something as his body was causing him a feeling in his head warning him about the robot, when all of a sudden the robot starts walking as it takes a leap over the many buildings and destroying them. Izuku realized what else seemed odd about it. This wasn't a normal robot. This was a robot made to keep Tartarus under complete surveillance, and Izuku wonders how it is possible for a school like UA to have such robots. Everyone in the pub wonders this while the teachers turn to the rat god, who seems to be mumbling some stuff while eating his cheese while thinking if he could get a robot like that one for his next exam. Back in the AU, Izuku just looks at the robot as he spots Uraraka trying to get everyone there out while also being stuck with her using what seems to be knives that are trying to break the rubble. Everyone takes notice of this, wondering where did Uraraka got the knives, but it all comes to a hold when they all see Izuku running towards the robots as he says this is stupid, but he can't just stand there and let this people die in front of him, if not he fails as a hero. He continues speeding up as the robot takes out what seems to be a huge blade from its arm, making everyone below it scream out in fear. All of a sudden, the longing to pushing himself even more causes Izuku to focus OFA on his arms alone at 20% as he starts reaching towards the robot, still a bit too panicked as lives are on the line, but his head remembers the fact that if he doesn't do anything people could die. Uraraka cries out in despair, thinking how she may die here and how she couldn't even save the people next to her, simply making her fail as a hero in any sort of way. She holds on to the people, hoping for them to not be that heavily injured as she cries out for help from anyone, while others just look at the chaos happening, not being able to move from the shock or just not wanting to put their life on danger. This boosts Izuku to move even quicker while the people scream below him as he gets there and sees the huge blade coming for him, about to crush everyone, and before anyone could say anything, they all stare in awe as Izuku intercepts and grips the huge blade on top of him. Deku, like I will let you. As he screams, Izuku picks up the at least 500-ton robot with his 2 arms and starts to spin around, taking down a building or 2 with it before throwing it blocks away from him into another building. Knowing that the machine is far from destroyed, Deku rushes towards it, still with his legs enhanced with OFA, running at about 400 km/h throughout the streets just to get hit by the robot's tail and flung straight into 3 buildings. The robot once again goes to hit Izuku, but he sees an opening and jumps to the air and runs at an insane speed throughout it while throwing punches and heavily damaging its arm, to then jump in the end and axe kick the robot's arm off, but in the process heavily damaging his leg. The robot falls and seems to turn off. Izuku lands tired as hell, as this was the first time he used this much of OFA and his stamina wasn't truly ready, but just as they are about to call of the exam, Izuku turns to see the robot charge and attack towards FIM, and multiple hatches opening. The determination and power rise in Izuku as he sees hundreds of missiles flying towards him as he jumps from missile to missile, building to rubble and many more things in his way. Izuku ends up running up its chest as he charges OFA at 100% and lands a punch on the robot, blowing the head off into scraps only 3 inches and in the process creating a cyclone of the size of Japan for 10 seconds before it spread it out, leaving everyone speechless. Scene cuts to black, AM, I, Class 1A, Class 1B, teachers, Nizu, that was amazing. Oh, I haven't had this much fun since I wrecked Ashido and Kaminari in their exams. Ahahahahaha. Mina and Kami, Vietnam flashbacks, Jiru, what the hell did we just witness? Kamakiri, we went from feeling bad about Midoriya to just see him like a DMN god in a fight against a huge robot. Deku, wow, Evan, so I guess you all want explanations, don't you? Everyone, YEA, Evan, okay then, takes out a big notebook labeled as QWA. Okay, so this world is known as Quirk World Arsenal, and let me explain. In this world, most of you were born in a time where quirks have been around for 1,000 years, is around 3020 when this happens. Everyone just looks surprised. Evan, Izuku was quirkless most of his life, and let's just say it wasn't easy at all, compared to others. He didn't have Inko to help him as she was mostly working trying to take care of him to pay his school and more stuff, so Inko couldn't really take care of him, leaving Izuku alone most of the time. A shared sad look is noticed in everyone as they notice the sad karma that seems to haunt Deku. Another thing is, between the 1,000 of years of growth, Quirk developed into something known as armed quirks that give weapons made to help with a quirk. Like Bakugo's quirk counts with 2 revolvers that use his explosions, and the more his quirk strength grows the higher caliber he can shoot. At his peak I think he can shoot 50 calories. Momo, why don't you know? Evan, well, this universe hasn't reached the conclusion of Deku's story. He just had an event in a place known as Cloud Columbia, the city that connects Asia and America throughout the Skeesis, kinda like an Island Zero, but anyone can live there. Well yeah, the next thing to say about this is that when he came across the sludge villain to save Bakugo, OFA chose Izuku to become the 9th AM and Deku chose Evan. Yep, OFA isn't passed down, OFA chooses it user every 90 to 100 years, Deku, that long. Evan, it took 300 years for the world as a whole to calm down, and during those years, 2 world wars happened over countries wanting AFO dead and others supporting him. This were World War III and IV, but by the time the 5th user of OFA came, the tensions had stopped for the most part, but AFO was still a threat, but at least it only was a threat in Japan. When All Might's time came to become a OFA user, he had to face what was left of AFO's army, which ended up with his death, or so they thought. All Might received his injury and AFO was said to be dead, but what truly happened is that AFO's body was unresponsive due to the blow to his head, but he was left in a vegetative state. As far as this universe is going, it doesn't seem like the people who have his body want to revive him, they just want to take the quirk from him and give it to Shigaraki, Aizawa, just like it happened with us. Evan, exactly. I'm sorry I'm going all over the place, but I have this 200-page book for a reason. Translation. I have an entire category in a Discord server with just stuff from this AU. I have put a lot of time into it, and I'm reading it next year as a texting story. Why next year? Well, because I have some others to finish before it. I am mainly making this part to see what some of the people think of it, and yeah, it may be in a TS, but I find it easier to write actual stories in the TS format due to me having about 8 to 10 months on experience on it. I hope some of you are willing to check it out whenever it is to happen in the far yet not so far future. Momo, wow, and you say this is far from being concluded, right? Evan, yep. Another thing is that this Deku in particular has a lot to himself, as he first started as a lone wolf due to how people treated him. As soon as they learned he had a quirk, many started trying to befriend him, trying to go on dates with him and more stuff. Most impressive thing is that Bakugo tried to fight him and in the process burned off his saggy clothes, revealing his built as hell body. After this, some of his bullies tried to fight him, but his training and more stuff got him the chance of dodging all without the need of throwing a single punch, and it all got worse when Bakugo tried to blow up his head. Midnight, wait, present mic, whoa what? Aizawa, didn't you just say they were at school? Evan, yeah, but the teachers never give a SHT, I mean in this Bakugo explodes him and beats him constantly, even shoots Izuku with small rounds to hurt him, and the teachers did nothing apart from rigging Izuku's grades. Well, some of them. But yeah, Bakugo shoots Izuku and without OFA he straight up grabs the bullet midair and just gives the bullet covered in his to Bakugo and leaves in silence, not showing any emotion on his face cause he was just tired of it at this point, 15 years dealing with Bakugos. Arrogance and all the favoritism directed to Bakugo just couldn't accept it anymore, so he decided to just become a lone wolf with the only person he calls a friend being power who looks like this. He just couldn't accept it anymore, so he decided to just become a lone wolf with the only person he calls a friend being power who looks like this, who is the most childish, most teasing, most cockiest, most important and most amazing person in Izuku's life. She has not left his side or betrayed him. Since they met each other during the time of training to get better hold of OF, Ash has been the most reliable person for Izuku and has been helping him no matter what. Just know anything the two say to each other has a grain of salt sometimes. Mina, I have another horn buddy. She screams excitedly, scaring some. Deku, what's her quirk? Evan, her quirk is known as erythrokinesis, which is BLD manipulation. Though she limits it to her own BLD, she's able to use other people's BLD capable of hardening the liquid and turn it into weapons. Being born with this quirk also made her have 2 or 3 times the amount of BLD a normal human usually has. Momo, so is the scythe she's holding made out of her own BLD. Evan, yep, and the horns are due to the BLD excess in her body. She can basically send BLD to them and make them grow. Her quirk is also in the category of arsenal quirks. Quirks that can let you have or make many weapons for you to use. An example would be Momo, which also means OFA is 1 due to each quirk of it having a weapon each. Kaminari, there really is a lot to this one. Evan, yeah, I think we may need to come back to it later. I also wanted to ask you all if there was anyone you guys wanted me to bring here, cause I brought all of you, but I think I could bring more people apart from all of you. Sony name, tell me. Jax, gotta agree. Also, who wants a drink or some snacks? On a bartender outfit. Evan, where the F dash? Jax, we don't gotta worry about it. So anyone? I got coffee, got some alcohol for some reason, just say it and I'ma give you some. Evan, they are underage. Jax, and so are you, so why are you grabbing a bottle of whiskey? Evan, experiments. Jax, how are you, my boss? Evan, Beach, do I look like your actual boss? Jax, well, like a Dark Souls boss, but, laughing. Evan opens the bottle and starts chugging it. Dash, IF hate you. Jax, love you too. Evan, laughing his butt off, so I know this is like a huge teaser, but genuinely I've invested a lot of time into coming up with a story for this AU in particular, and I really want to work on it next year. Have a great day though. F you and love you. Laughing face. Midoriya triplets. Evan, I'm sad, just too sad. Aizawa, you hit a low-hanging fruit it seems. Jax, is just funny how ugly I called him and how much it hit him. Evan, can you F off and let me be for once? Dash, Jax, you trapped me in AF hole for a week. Evan, no, you fell in the F hole. Not blaming me, fuckhead. Kirishima, before this gets uncomfortable for us, we see something else. Sweat drop. Evan, yeah sure, I really don't mind. So what to talk about? Yeah, I know perfectly just what to do. I think we should start with this. Presses a button. We see Izuku sleeping in the floor with a lot pillows around him, showing insane signs of tiredness to what seems to be training. At the distance, some steps are heard rushing towards the direction of Izuku's room just to see the door slammed open. Izuku, wake your butt up. The shadowy figure grabs a pillow and throws straight to Izuku's face. Deku, AGH, what the hell was that for? Stretching while having a panic attack. Dash, you know what's wrong? That you're not moving and we're gonna be late to our first day at UA, meaning that they may try to hit on her. And now the outburst. Suddenly a huge amount of air pressure appears from Izuku, sending the pillows flying and hitting the shadow at the door for his eyes to then reveal to be looking a bit blue and a serious look, and he says, "Where's my DMN uniform?" The shadowy figure smirks behind the pillow and points to the corner of the room where 1 uniform and 3 clothespin are present, which quickly disappears just to see Izuku putting it on and recreating Eren putting on his jacket. God. You really like her, Deku, and what about you and Setsuna? She's just annoying, you know. He removes the pillow, revealing his face and shocking everyone in the pub. Dash, she's just annoying, you know. He removes the pillow, revealing his face and shocking everyone in the pub. Everyone, another Midoriya. Deku, Izukumi. Evan, oh yeah, I didn't even realize what AU I played is called Triple Threat. Inko, Triple Threat. Wait, Dash, Yamakumo, Izuku, you only have 3 seconds before I haul but 2 UA and leave you all here. Deku, we know the only reason you're awake is cause you know MEI is at UA. So. At least I'm not like you two not accepting I like Mei. Yamakumo, so why are you still alone beach? F you. Deku and Yami love you too Hirogi. The two basically teleport next to him once again shocking everyone. Deku and Yami love you too Hirogi. The two basically teleport next to him once again shocking everyone. Hirogi, good now get ready cause we're gonna be late if I don't remove friction from us. Deku, race. Yamakumo, F yeah, Hirogi, no, Deku, Hiragi where tripletsi know that you're lying, Hirogi, a smug smile forms on his face dash, and you're telling the truth, he runs off at supersonic speeds not causing anything behind him due to the frictionless and makes his gravity be nullified, Yamakumo, AGHF hell. Black lightning with a purple outline surrounds him as he sprints off just becoming a like of darkness with purple dash, I will Swiss kebab your butt for this. Deku, we are definitely triplets you better pay me with a katsudon after this, he jumps up and a sort of air nimbus surrounds his legs and he boosts himself past the clouds, and now we travel with style baby. He keeps his hands on his pockets as he starts sliding throughout the sky using the wind to fly at supersonic speeds with no backdraw due to him lacking friction. Deku, I'm a triplet. Inko, I have triplets. Evan, reminder that this is another universe so don't panic. This is what happens in another world, Kaminari, yeah but still. 3 Midobros. Evan, if you guys don't mind I will explain once this clip is done and if you guys want we can come back to it later like in QWA, Momo, I must agree with you, Setsuna, so the sleep-deprived version of Midoriya likes me, Hatsum, Huso that purple version of Midoriya likes me EY. Evan, as I said I will explain afterwards, we cut to UA where we can see people talking with each other getting to know each other, introducing to their classmates while others stay in silence looking around wondering who they will meet and who their teacher may be. But one girl in particular outstands in the place this girl having a appealing long red and white hair with a blue and gray eye and a scar on one side of her face with an outstanding figure while looking outside, to what it can be seen she doesn't want to enter in contact with anyone but she knows people will try to talk to her, maybe even flirt but she knows once he arrives, she's safe from anyone hurting her. All of a sudden, some people start approaching her, both girls and boys go to her to talk to her but she just doesn't listen to them except for one she already knows. Setsuna sits in front of her, don't worry I'll give him the seat once he gets here, hey Tokage, Setsuna, doing better. A bit ever since he forced me to stay with Hymus just got worse, Setsuna, did he try to? And no but he got people to come and he just can't anymore, Setsuna, don't worry you know those three are unstoppable and Izuku will not leave you until he knows you're safe. She looks down as her hand starts to shake a bit dash, I just hope he really can help, Setsuna, hey we're talking of the Midoriyas last time I saw one give up, it was because he was put on death's door so cheer up Shoka, she looks at her ribbon and ties it up a bit more. Shoka, oh ow, Setsuna, sorry, but better. Setsuna, sorry, but better. Shoka, better, everyone stares in shock and disbelief as what they are seeing in front of them is basically Todoroki but looking like a girl or not looking like one, if not, being one. Todoroki, I'm a girl. Evan, I will explain after this like I said, Todoroki entered his theory mode and is trying to think of answers of sorts. The two stay there talking for a bit before getting approached by certain blonde-hair boy who heard them mention the name, Midoriya, so he starts questioning them while menacing them telling to tell him what they know about the Midoriyas, as Shoka remembers what Izuku once told her. Deku, I called him Kakin in the past because we were friends but when I was called QUIRKLESS at first, all he did was try to terrorize my life. If it wasn't for Yami and Hiro I don't think I would have lasted this long. Shoka questions the why he's here at all as if someone so cruel even deserves to be here. But she was reminded of her father and how things are for her and she started to shake but realized one thing Shoka's sad face if he doesn't change could become the next endeavor, she says as the memories of all she has been thought enter her head but all she can hear is her brothers screaming for her to be safe, crying for her safety and her mother's words to her just making her sadder. Before things started to escalate, a sort of bang is heard as the window is opened and everyone turns to it. All of them spot a black and purple lightning coming while a cloud gets opened in the sky and something seems to be moving with so much speed that it's dragging papers and dirt with it making Everyone wonder what is it before it suddenly stops at the UA gate and they see three guys hauling but towards the opened window. Hirogi, I'm not the one paying the Katsudon this week Mott-halves. Yamakumo, jumps Hirogi pulling out his katana dash, you're not cause you're being slashed into nothing beach. Deku, oh so I can take the lead. Don't mind if I do. He runs even faster and takes a leap, Hirogi, get back here UF. He extends his arm and uses his gravity manipulation and pull Izuku towards him, Deku, oh come on that's unfair. Oh wait I can do this. Turns his whole body into wind and goes throughout the window, Yamakumo, becomes a cloud of darkness and appears next to Izuku dash, I'm not letting you. Hirogi, completely negates his body from gravity and friction and increases his velocity and runs throughout all of UA as fast as a bullet and appears next to his brothers. Nope, deactivates all the effects of his quirk and increases the weight of his arm and punches both his brothers out the window, Deku and Yami, UFAAAH. Fly into a tree, Hirogi, sucker dash, Deku, sends a punch of air straight into Hirogi's face and flings him into the classroom crashing Hirogi into the wall and going out without payback. Yamakumo and Izuku jump into the window and stare at each other and Izuku quickly uses his quirk to clean himself and Yamakumo of all the leaves and dirt on their uniform and also does the same with Hirogi. Deku, so you're cooking this week for playing dirty, Hirogi, WHA, I didn't. Deku, you pulled me with your quirk and we said no fighting each other. Hirogi, but I didn't fight you. Yamakumo, bro you nailed us into AF tree. If it wasn't cause of my zone I would have been impaled. Hirogi, yeah I guess you have a point, Yami and Deku you guess. Setsuna, looks at them dash, so are you three gonna continue infighting or gonna sit down? Yamakumo, I really feel like fighting gravity boi over here and snap his neck, Hirogi, but you can't, Yamakumo, yeah I'm not willing to kill you anytime soon, Deku, so I'm guessing we just sit down and stop for once cause I'm hearing someone coming at a bit of a slow pace, Hirogi, you don't think I can't sense him, he walks to a table next to Setsuna's actual desk and sits down, Yamakumo, wait is it him? A bit excited but doesn't show it as he walks to a seat next to Shoka's, Deku, I think so but I'm 100% not expecting him to go easy if that's the case, he sits down in front of Shoka, Yamakumo, ho do you think he would? Deku, after last week's training no if anything I should be ready for hell, sweating bullets while thinking about it, Shoka, hey Yamakumo, hey Izuku, Deku, hey Shoka, smiles with a bit of a blush, Yamakumo, yo, makes a peace sign, screen goes black. Deku, I'm out of words for what's happening, Todoroki, same, Momo, okay so Todoroki is a girl. Midoriya has brothers which are his triplets and he seems to be insanely op and also Todoroki or Shokato doesn't seem to have a good past, Evan, okay so. Explanation time I guess, the obvious part is that Izuku is a triplet, this being Yamakumo and Hirogi, Izuku is the youngest, then Hirogi and Yamakumo is the oldest one which made stuff harder for Inko as a lonely mother. But she wasn't always alone, the thing is, all for one is the father of the 3-inch everyone who. Evan, this is the why their quirks are so different because of the many quirks AFO has. Izuku's quirk is called Wind Stigma, he has full manipulation of wind and air and has a state known as Stigma which lets him basically become a god for a couple of minutes to the point he can make hurricanes by just snapping his fingers. Backdraw is that he later struggles to breathe and it wastes a lot of stamina. Hirogi's quirk is fundamental forces which lets him manipulate gravity, inertia, velocity, electromagnetism, attraction, repulsion and friction. Backdraw is that his body starts to bleed on its own after some time and most commonly is his nose and eyes bleed a lot and he can also feel his body be crushed from overuse. And Yamakumo's is Dark Ages which lets him use sort of dark magic. Backdraw is that he has little control over it so he focuses the power on his sword, stamina and body strain are his actual backdraws. Everyone, wow, may I ask how did Mr. Potato was able to have kids? Evan, PFT-Jax, well, the thing is that this was actual love, he genuinely fell in love with Inko and Inko fell in love with him that lead to him having kids. Yes he knows this but he actually made a promise to his kids, that he wouldn't die until he saw them become strong enough to beat him cause even if he's a villain. This are his kids who rejected following him making them enemies but want to be heroes and each other promise to not die until they become the greatest and they defeat their father. Is a weird promise but this means a lot for them, because in a way they are making his father pay for leaving their mother. So as for the Shoka, Evan, sorry about this but we're getting into the dark side of this story. Some get a worried face at hearing this. So Shoka did not have an easy life from the start. Endeavor abused her like no tomorrow, beat her, trained her without mercy. It was a life of pure fear for Shokan. Then it's the day she got her scar. While this Todoroki may say it had to do with his mother, here it was Endeavor. One time Shoka decided to step in and stop Endeavor from continue abusing her mother, but it ended with her being hit with a fire punch into her left side of her face, and her mother embraced her, trying to calm the burn and pain down. After that Endeavor continued beating Rei and telling Shoka she was guilty of it as she just stood there forced to watch. Is just an uncomfortable silence from everyone, not being able to believe what they are being told, and Todoroki just contemplates the cruelty he never received but could have received in the past. Sometime later, Rei committed suicide by overdosing herself with pills and dying in the arms of Shoka, who she told to live her life to her fullest no matter what. And if you thought things were already terrible, well, Endeavor proceeded to beat Rei's dead corpse and even got people to RPE it in front of Shoka. No one can believe what they are hearing as some start to cry. For the next year Shoka continued being abused by his dad and even got people towel not RPE her but still touch her and torture her, because according to this Endeavor, the more terrible things she experienced the more perfect my weapon will be, simply implying she's just his SLV to use however he wants. Fuyumi and Natsuo couldn't do anything cause Endeavor told them that if a single word came out about him, they would be killed in the spot, and Tuyuel became a villain in the hopes of finding more people that wanted to kill Endeavor and basically make an army just to take him out in any form, but Tuya wanted him to suffer for all he had done to his sister. Shoka and Izuku met after she was able to escape from a family who was trying to arrange a marriage with her, but they decided to stop midway through it after she escaped cause the father realized her face was filled of fear. The two met after Izuku helped her escape Endeavor, and she ended up staying with them for a long time, and they slowly started to help her with her falling in love with him, but fearing at first Izuku would use her. But after Izuku, Yamakumo, and Hirogi showed to wanting to kill Endeavor in UA, she realized they really meant to help her. Later on, after Izuku literally appeared out of nowhere in the middle of the arranged marriage with Bakugo, Izuku showed that out of all the triplets you should fear him the most because he's the one that can reflect AFO the most when mad, because you don't see an angry person, you just see a smile of a demon on his face that only affects others apart from his brothers and Shoka. He grabs her and caresses her while saying how much he has dreamed of the moment he can finally be with her, while also dreaming of the day he makes Endeavor and Bakugo suffer true hell. Shoka sees calm and charm on that smile, but the rest feel pure death coming from the calmest triplet. But Izuku teach them one thing, and that is to never hurt those he loves, because he will most likely make you live eternal hell. Jax, like the fact he made his usual smile that inspires hope and prosperity becomes a symbol of pure dread and despair just to save someone else, showed so many that Izuku is the last human you want to make mad, because you should not fear how he will kill you, you should fear how he will massacre you mentally and let you die slowly. Deku, me really let that side of me out in other universes. EY. Class 1A, what's that supposed to mean? Deku, no nothing. Evan, okay Mr. Seinen, stop flexing on us how cool you can be. Deku, but I didn't mean it. Sweat drop. Evan, okay then would you guys mind another break? I do have a teaser for what I will show you next though. Everyone, sure, Mina, but what will we see? Ships. More stories like this ones. Evan, well, before I show it, do you guys have a list of who you want to see here? RN. Deku, oh yeah, here, gives him a list. Evan, grabs it. Dash, okay then the teaser, Hatsum and Deku, Why yes, me favorite MHA ship is next, and I have this statement: if anyone were to fit as Deku's ship for MHA apart from Uraraka, it would be Hatsum. Even if we haven't seen her much, we know him and Hatsum interact during time skips and more due to costume upgrades we see on his costume and more. Also, did you guys knew that Midoriya's costume has AF knife in his belt, to be precise the left cheek? Izumi, I an unexpected awakening. Hatsum, I genuinely look happy with him, she says smiling, hiding a small blush on her face. Deku, too much, just too much for me. Red as a beet. Evan, there's much more, but let's just say he's a bit too lewd, looking away from everyone. Mineta, Midoriya ubstrd. Kaminari, what is it that you find the best women to give up to you? Mina, they actually look a cute couple, taking notes of the ship. Toru have to agree, Inko, Itkas of now my son could date anyone and it seems like he would find happiness with everyone, Evan and Jax, flashback to all those cursed ships dash, hate that she may be right, Evan, okay so let's get into the next AU to see, just know that the name is Unexpected Awakening, the why you'll get later, presses a button. We see Midoriya on his room reading something from his computer spending a while also getting different ideas of what he could do. Deku shoots stylefully focused on using my legs and even make air pressure a blast could ask me for some modifications to my boots, I actually should ask her for a complete suit upgrade, giving her some job would make her really happy, he thinks back to something he was saying dash, wait if I can create a blast of air pressure with my kicks, Hatsum, whispers in his ear dash, why not pressurize it and free it like bullets using your fingers. Deku jumps from his chair dash, Hatsum. Hatsum, hey don't be shy and call me for my first name like I told you to, Deku, oh yeah, clears throat and once again jumps from his chair dash mei. Hatsum, she starts laughing, Deku, also starts laughing, Evan, oh I forget the amazing chemistry this two have in this AU, everyone just stares at the screen surprised by how natural the two are acting, how it feels like an actual relationship and how lovely they look together. Hatsum just stares at it surprised but blushing a bit seeing how laid back she's being and how he still accepts her, is such a natural way the two are talking to each other it feels like this needed to happen. Deku, it just feels, Hatsum, like we're meant to talk to each other, Deku, calming down, how do you know where I live? Hatsum, 20 hours are a lot Izuku, in those 20 hours your mom gave me the address while you were on operation so that I could come see you after it, this caught everyone by surprise, what operation? Her eyes focus on Midoriya's right arm which can be barely seen at the moment as her eyes start to sparkle, she starts to check it out finally revealing everyone what his arm looks like, her eyes focus on Midoriya's right arm which can be barely seen at the moment as her eyes start to sparkle, she starts to check it out finally revealing everyone what his arm looks like. Everyone looks in disbelief and some piece it together realizing that the operation he must have gone through was to get the arm Deku, I have a prosthetic arm. Why does Midoriya have a prosthetic arm? David, wait it has my signature on it so I made that for him, Evan, remember explanations at the end, Hatsum continues checking the arm out in awe quickly analyzing what it's made of and how it works while Midoriya can't help but blush from embarrassment while laughing as he thinks, so this is what I look at when I mutter EY. Hatsum, so does it have a name? Deku, yeah, Mr. Shield called Rakakantaki, Hatsum, meaningful. Deku, yeah, I think is in reference to how essential my arms are to using my quirk, Hatsum, pretty senseful, Deku, clearly does, Hatsum, gotten a hang of it. Deku, a bit but I learned is waterproof, he demonstrates it by letting a single drop of water and the arm closes to the most keeping safe any mechanism, Hatsum, her eyes shine like stars dash, woo is so cool. Deku, can't deny it, Hatsum, this has its time spent into it. Coming up with the design and the mechanism though you think he's been working on this for longer than we think. Deku, this is meant to handle 100% of my quirk and with all this mechanisms plus finding materials, Hatsum, I think he's been working on this for months. Hatsum turns to Midoriya's left arm and stares at it as she grabs it carefully and starts checking his scars with her hand slowly moving across his arm giving Midoriya a warm feeling similar to one he had felt before in Eye Island when Melissa saw his scars but this feeling was warmer and more comfortable, it just made him feel happy. Hatsum, what did they told you about it? Deku, he starts talking to Hatsum about his arm's condition and the consequences of doing this again, Hatsum, please don't do it, Deku, huh? Hatsum, don't do that Againi don't want you to lose your other arm, she puts his hand on her cheek as she starts caressing it with her eyes closed dash, is such a calming feeling it gives me being with you I forget it all because I enjoy thighs I enjoy the warm coming from because I can't help but feel safe around it. Hatsum continues caressing his scarred hand while Midoriya just gives her a warm smile as he Oswell enjoys her company Deku, thank you for helping me so much in this past months May. Hatsum, I should be thanking you my hero, Midoriya and Hatsum continue talking for a while making jokes and laughing with each other while Inko just hears them with a smile and tears admitting her son may have found someone who really loves him after so long, before Hatsum leaves. Midoriya gives her some plans he had and she takes them happily seeing that she will have some work to do to help Midoriya out and Midoriya brings up the choker she's wearing saying that it has the most important words someone has ever told her, before she leaves, she kisses 3 of her fingers and quickly puts them on Midoriya's lips and leaves happily while Midoriya just stays there silent. After Hatsum leaves, Inko comes into Midoriya's room with a smug smile on her face. Inko, well, seems like someone is in love. Deku, I just know I can't say you're wrong, I love her a lot, I can't wait to marry her. Wait, no, I didn't mean to say that. He says, blushing red like a tomato. Scene cuts to black. Evan, okay, so that must have been so cheesy but also so lovely for some of you. Mina, I'm jealous of how appealing of a couple they are. Like what the hell? Uraraka, I have never seen a couple that fits better for each other. Evan, fun fact, this was 2 weeks before they started dating. Everyone, wait, they were not even dating in that scene. Jax, nope, is just that Hatsum likes to tease Midoriya because she doesn't really understand love that well, so she thought maybe that way she could tell her feelings for him, but she ended up realizing it wasn't the case, so she later made a video and confessed on his birthday. It's an appealing moment, but we want to show you a moment of this Deku that just signed him for next #1 hero in the eyes of the United States. Melissa, Island. Evan, wow, she realized quicker than expected. Maybe we should show them the other Oniso before anything. Let me explain about Midoriya's arm. In the USJ, you guys should know that Tsuyu was in a close call from being decayed by Shigaraki, right? Class 1A, yeah, she told us afterwards, I remember that. Evan, so what stopped him? There was Aizawa Butin. This alternate universe Aizawa was fully unconscious, so he couldn't do that, but Midoriya sacrificed his right arm, in just a fraction. As soon as he realized what Shigaraki's quirk wash, put his arm in front of Tsuyu, getting grabbed and getting his arm decayed. But you'll wonder, wouldn't he have died? And the thing is, Midoriya awakened Black WHP back at the entrance exam. Deku, I did. Wait, so that's why you gave I the name Unexpected Awakening? Cause Black WHP had just manifested out of the blue, and I'm guessing same with the other quirks. Evan, so sorry for changing the pace, but what you did with Black WHP was insanely brutal, and it was to make 7 black whips and cut off your arm from you so that decay didn't damage you further, thus saving Tsuyu. Everyone flinched except Deku, who only said, I did the right thing. Then, everyone looks at him before remembering is Deku they are talking about, the one willing to die for anyone even if they are villains. Evan, due to this you pushed yourself even further in your training to the point you were able to control 15% of OFA by the provisional exam. Deku, surprised face, that much? It took me like 3 months to go from 8% to proper handle of 15% and 20%. Jax, okay, so let's go to an action scene that is just the moment that already twisted your fate and is making this world completely different for each other. Presses a button. We see start from a different perspective as we see Class 1A looking across what seems to be the cameras while Aizawa and All Might fight over if they should stop this or not. Many are confused at first, but Bakugo and Deku catch up quickly to what is happening. Suddenly we hear an explosion noises before we hear what seems to be concrete breaking before a side of a building burst right open, revealing Midoriya coughing while Bakugo chokes in midair. Bakugo, I'm far from done, you DMN nerd. Bakugo spins midair, still gripping Midoriya's shirt before charging an explosion and flinging into the ground at a high speed, raising the floor below them. Midoriya quickly kicks Bakugo in the gut and sends him flying, but he regains control midair and lands properly. Deku quickly jumps up and gets in position as he looks at Bakugo, gritting his teeth as 2 black WHP springs are made, 1 below each feet. Deku, jet style. He disappears out of anyone's sight, and afterwards the floor below him shatters completely, leaving a small crater. Bakugo starts looking around before he feels a hit in his shoulder, then the gut, the tricep, the leg and arm, to then just see a green lightning bouncing from side to side using the building, slowly breaking them apart. Everyone in the pub just stares in pure awe before they see the shot to show the UA students all waking up to see outside and witness lightning and fire flying everyone. Wow, Aizawa, this too are way stronger. Deku, it's just whoa. Bakugo, DMN right, I'm amazing. Back to the fight, we can see Bakugo bleeding badly from his mouth while throwing explosions, trying to predict the attacks but barely can. Bakugo, if you want to beat me, come for me, nerd. Bakugo lets out an explosion and sends himself across the street and starts maneuvering as smooth as butter. Deku rushes behind him using black WHP to grip himself to the building and jumping across it while hitting debris. Bakugo is causing to be flung towards Midoriya before he uses one as a distraction and kicks Midoriya into a roof where he goes for another kick, but Midoriya blocks it but reveals it to be a distraction to land a rolling thunder. Name I give to his spinning attack. No, I don't mean howitzer, I mean this one. Midoriya gets flung across 8 buildings, bouncing across 4 of them, hurting his back heavily, but he couldn't care less at the moment as he grips the floor with Rakukontiki, breaking it but also stopping himself. Midoriya prepares his fist as his face. Midoriya gets flung across 8 buildings, bouncing across 4 of them, hurting his back heavily, but he couldn't care less at the moment as he grips the floor with Rakukontiki, breaking it but also stopping himself. Midoriya prepares his fist as his face is filled of rage and little concern. Deku's sad face. I just know. Who am I joking with? This will most likely kill him. Midoriya's arm suddenly closes as the servos start spinning at a high speed and a part of the mechanism unites as it starts spinning using the electricity generated by OFA. The arm suddenly shines bright green as Bakugo gets closer to Midoriya's face, both with obvious eyes of anger. Deku, Thunderstrike. OFA is charged at 100% as he activates offensive mode, turning that 100% into 30%. Bakugo. He gets to his face but realizes too late about the arm. Deku, smaeas. Deku throws the punch, generating an insane amount of air pressure behind Bakugo, who gets pulled back by it and can simply see a mountain 40 kilometers from where Midoriya stands be blown up into its half while burning from the power. Everyone by equal stares at this in pure shock as they just saw half of the mountain be blown up in just a single punch. Bakugo got flung into the buildings, going through some before crashing into the tallest building in the fake city and getting an idea. He sends himself up to the roof of the building and lands there as he charges up his explosions in one hand and puts the other on front. Bakugo, AP shot barrage. Midoriya was able to see the dot of light coming from the top of the building, so he instantly started running throughout the roofs, jumping from one roof to the other as an artillery barrage is being shot by one singular man in the attempts of hitting him and most likely killing him. Before Midoriya could do much, Bakugo screamed out loud, "Gustav round barrage," as his shots became less constant but 3 times more lethal as they destroyed buildings with ease and were able to catch up to Midoriya, who got an indirect hit from 2 explosions, making him fall to the street in pain. Bakugo saw this as an opportunity to go all out as rage consumed him and he only thinks of killing, but right now he wants to go overkill as he sends himself flying to the clouds. Charging explosions to the points his palms were shining an intense red. Midoriya saw this as danger sense skyrocketed, warning him of a danger that surpasses even Muscular himself from back when he fought him. Bakugo, ultimate move. Midoriya, knowing at any moment anything could come down, quickly hits the floor, raising it, grappling black WHP into the ground like anchors and putting Rakukontiki in front of him face. Bakugo, fat man. A giant beam of red color is seen flying down at an insane speed into the city as it impacts in it. Fat man. A giant beam of red color is seen flying down at an insane speed into the city as it impacts in it. What the blast was like. By the way, if anyone asks, the GIF is from Bleach. Maybe a hint. The blast packed so much power into it that the shockwave was felt across all Mustafu and almost hit the neighbor cities of Mustafu, and it even sent Bakugo past the clouds from its raw power. Everyone looks in shock as this AU's Class 1A scream out in worry, with Hatsum quickly leaving the dorms to go to the fake city where it was as the blast completely destroyed the city, only leaving Midoriya with burn marks all over his body, tired, clothes a bit burned off, but the adrenaline rush going beyond ever before. Deku's sad face. I can't lose, not now, not right now. His body, though strained, still wants to go for even longer as he charges up OFA at 15%, you cacken out of anyone in this world. He takes a pose ready to leap as lightning appears around him and springs are made below his shoes. You are what makes me want to be stronger, what I strive to become. You, cacken. His scream echoes throughout all of UA as OFA had enhanced his vocal cords. The scream was so loud even Bakugo, who is past the clouds, was able to hear him. He takes a leap at full strength as he sends himself flying, destroying a 15-meter area of the floor he stood foot on. As he sends himself flying up at a high speed, all of a sudden his body loses all weight, nothing being able to drag him down, and his momentum only increasing by the second with no backlash from supersonic speeds as he starts to break the sound barrier. You are my incarnation of victory. We then see All Might and Aizawa, who see this happen as the two of them think, "Its the 7th, s my MSTR's quirk, As they think this, Midoriya breaks the sound barrier for a second before he deactivates his quirk and starts losing speed but still is going up towards Bakugo, who tries to charge an explosion to hit Midoriya, but the strain in his palms is beyond inhuman. Midoriya comes in with a left hook which he lands straight into Bakugo's stomach, almost destroying his gut in the process and making him cough with saliva. Bakugo tries to take his arm off him but can't due to the pain he's feeling from the punch. "Deku, you have always been my friend even after telling me to kill myself. I hate that of myself, I hate it." He thrusts his fist deeper into Bakugo's chest, leaving him out of all air. "I can't accept my hatred for you. Because you are my friend." Bakugo slowly stops trying to fight back as he listens to Midoriya's words, and his Kanzia starts to drift away as he's slowly passing out, feeling the hatred that was deep within him leave slowly as he heard those words from Midoriya. His last thought before passing out being Bakugo's sad face. "What did I Dodo ever be called the friend of the nicest person in his rotten world?" He finishes passing out as a tear comes down his face, his body finally giving up to the pain and exhaustion. Before they start falling, Midoriya grabs Bakugo with black WHP as he slows the descent with float and his limp body, but he slowly starts to pass out from tiredness but is able to spot some crow heroes making their way to them. A smile comes at Midoriya as he thinks of how useless this was, how it may never change anything, how we only just destroyed things in the eyes of others, but in his eyes this all happened so he can have his friend back. Midoriya almost lands when some of the heroes start going to them to help them out, and his smile still stays on as he closes his eyes from tiredness. "Deku, looks like we're even." Screen cuts to black. "Silence Evan, so do I speak first or do you guys wanna speak first?" Please do us the favor, Evan." "Okay, so first things first about this AU, in this all UA teachers know about OFA since All Might wanted them to know of the why Midoriya will struggle throughout his time at UA, and a certain teacher used that against Midoriya once just to get roasted in front of everyone after he got a kilometer in distance. So the obvious is that Midoriya woke up black WHP earlier, and same with the other quirks, but by far in this AU he only has black WHP, danger sense, and float. I already said he lost his arm and all that, but two more things is that OFA is divided in defensive and offensive mode, defensive mode being the mode your Deku uses and offensive being able to shake the world with one punch. And the last one is that Ida died against the hero killer in front of Midoriya. Everyone felt in silence as Jairu, which was the one who heard Evan talk about it before, speaks up. "Jairu, so this is what you meant, Evan. Ye's not really something easy. It took Midoriya a whole month to accept it, and even a talk about Oboro." "Aizawa, what?" "Evan, yeah, you told him that it was a bad idea to continue that way, if not he was going to end like you, and you didn't want that to happen to him." "Aizawa, I see, Evan, sorry for that, but the thoughts on the fight?" "Kaminari, yeah, what the f is that?" "Kirishima, did Midoriya blew up a mountain kilometers from him?" "Mina, and did Bakugo really shoot a nuke to get Midori?" "Kendo, are this two as powerful as those two?" "Evan, to answer you, Kendo, they can, but the thing is that the Deku of that universe thinks as quick as a supercomputer. He discovered Shigaraki's quirk without even seeing him use it, knew the perfect counter to his missing arm, had a contingency plan for All Might in the exam, and many more things. This is why he came up with all this combat styles apart from shoot style. He came up with Air Force sooner. Made Tatsumaki style, which is a tornado focus style, jet style, which is made to move. Double style, which he uses to do combo attacks with his punches, and black WHP, and many more. Deku, wow, Evan. So before we go, a quick compilation of Izume, Hatsum, YEY more me and Midoriya. Deku H. Evan, someone got a new lover perhaps. 3-inch Deku, no is, wait new. Evan, you wouldn't get it, you dense motherfucker. Jax, plays the vid before he finishes. Not much of a teaser for next part cause I simply do not know which one of my million O's I could do is kind of a lie. I think I know which one to do next. So yeah, I hope you all really liked this. See ya all, laughing face. Substitute Shinigami Mina. Man, it is really interesting to see all this stuff. Booty think the girls are getting a bit clingy over Midori. The camera pans to Deku, who at the moment is sitting between Kendo, Jairu, Hatsum and Uraraka, who are just talking to each, but Deku just stays there in between them, getting a bit nervous over it with a bit of a blush. Evan, I think they say is a effect of seeing other universes. You see the actions of a person you sometimes don't talk to often and you start to see their heart and potential. So I like to say, but I prefer that man to continue being a version before this SHT gets bad and they literally fight over him. Jax, didn't that happen with Forger? Evan, the man has a HRM, OFC it happened. Kaminari, who are you talking about? Evan, a friend, you guys may see him down the line. Well, let's just get into the next AU, shall we? Everyone HAI, Jax, presses a button and starts playing. We see a green-haired boy laying down in the floor smiling, wearing a sort of black robe with a sword on his hand as he has a sort of smirk on his face. Some steps are heard coming towards him as he takes a deep breath and he just stares to the sky. Deku, can't thank you enough for what you did. You don't really have to. Plus it wasn't just Meth Godii 13 accepted to this, even head Captain Yamamoto, Deku, chuckles dash, so even old man Yamamoto wants me back in business, hits him, Deku, gets sent into a tree dash, OW what the hell Rukia. Rukia, of course he was not going to leave such potential go to waste, especially after saving us idiot, Deku, I just did what was right for everyone and you know it, we discussed this already so let's not let it happen again, Deku. I just did what was right for everyone and you know it, we discussed this already so let's not let it happen again, Rukia, yeah you're right also, hits him hard, Deku, OUH. Rukia, what the hell convinced you to become a foolbringer? Did you even trust them enough to go as far to fight with them? Deku, there isn't much for me to say about it, oh I deserve that, Rukia, OFC you do. Not even a drunk Shinigami would think in trusting people who were substitutes in the past, especially when they use hollows to use their powers. The Deku Squad is known for being a cinnamon roll group. They're smart, have study sessions, always aiming to get good grades, and innocent. Or that's what Class 1A Thin Deku, I can be such an idiot, anyways calm down, I gotta leave before heroes arrive due to the pressures we created anime because I cut the sky, Rukia, yeah just move it, just know that we'll need you at the Soul Society, you should know I'm not leaving you anytime soon again, Deku, yeah, he scratches the back of his head and then smiles dash, missed you Rukia. She looks away from him with a small pouty face and a bit of a blush dash, miss you too Izuku, Deku. And hey guess I'm back on business EY. He grabs his badge and stares at it with a smile thinking back to the past month since he lost his Shinigami powers, guess I'm back on business EY. He grabs his badge and stares at it with a smile thinking back to the past month since he lost his Shinigami powers, Rukia, you better not slack off, oh and a bit of respect for me, a captain is here, Deku, who in the DMN Soul Society put you in charge of a squad. Rukia, relax broccoli, is not that bad. Plus I don't think you will be on mine, Deku, thank you for the mercy Soul King, Rukia, now let's move it, I think the others already got your family back home, Deku, so my family is back right. Rukia, yeah now come on and move it, Deku, yeah Miz I may be 300 years old but cuteness is my weakness, Rukia, vain pops dash, now that is something I don't miss of you also what's the problem with liking cute things? Deku, that you're a Kuchiki, literally the only family that kicked my butt so hard I had to be healed by Mr. Mad Hat now race you at my house, he smirks as he flash steps away, Rukia, Izuku. Flash steps away, scene cuts to black, Deku what just happened? Evan, I should explain them shouldn't I, Jax, you know SHT Sherlock, Evan, okay so in this world Deku is what is known as a Soul Reaper, those who fight hollows and hollows are corrupted souls and yada yada could be here for a whole hour explaining about this AU, the important thing is this Deku is a Soul Reaper, he became one on his second year of high school and UA is a college. Since he became one, he had to take a lot of responsibility in life from protecting the souls, training his body to become better, school and getting ready for UA. The reason he wanted to grow stronger at first was to give Rukia back her powers because he became what is known as a substitute Shinigami, humans that take in the power of a Soul Reaper when one is about to die or stuff like that. He met Ida before UA because he is what is known as a Quincy, a race that also fights the hollow but instead of creating a balance between the world of the souls and Earth, they completely destroy them breaking said balance. He also knows Kendo from high school and Setsuna from childhood, who he had trained martial arts for years. So yeah, and he also knows a 6 feet 2 inches Kirishima, who he has a pact with, of protecting each other and beating anyone that tries to harm others. For example, Bakugo, who preys on the weak for ego, has gotten his butt kicked by Deku and Kirishima with just raw strength. Bakugo, what the SHT? Like those two can even do much to me, Jax. Bakugo, your Deku moves faster than bullets, and Kirishima has Tanken, your strongest explosions with Izuku. What the F you are talking about, Evan? So anyways, Deku has done so much SHT in the past before this moment, so I will list them. Put some music while he lists all of this. He beat a Minos Grande, a hollow that is almost 160 tall on his early stages, which is something a substitute Shinigami usually isn't capable of. He fought against most of the Godai 13 captains just to save Rukia. BTW, the Godai 13 captains are some of the strongest Soul Reapers in Soul Society, but that's for later. After that, he faced hundred of hollows and even a group known Los Espada, which are Rouge Soul Reapers, and even killed some of them. Gita, that is not hero like Evan, neither is attempted murder. Gita, Carrot, Evan, also you're no exception. You also killed a lot of hollows and never gave a SHT about it until Deku kicked some sense into you. Okay, so, he walked throughout Las Noches and Hueco Mundo, aka enemy territory, just to save Kendo from Los Espada, who kidnapped her. Kendo is Orihime, if you guys haven't realized, and no is not just hair color. Same with Ida. He then proceeded to fight some of the top Espadas alone, was able to see throughout the lies of Kyoka Suigetsu, which has an ability that makes a perfect hallucination. He also beat the strongest Espada, Sosuke Aizen, alone for the most part, who had an object called Hogyoku, which lets the user break throughout any existential barrier, making them grow more and more powerful. Not only is it theorized that his most powerful form, known as Mugetsu, surpassed the Soul King, aka the one who created this universe, but it also was enough to weaken Aizen to a point of almost no return. Gladly, Kisuke Urahara, or the Mad Hatter as Deku calls him, was able to seal Aizen once and for all. Oh boy, I wonder if that was part of his plan. Another thing is that Deku is part human, part Soul Reaper, part Quincy, and part Hollow, which down the line let him achieve a different form. Now one more thing I should say is that this AU kinda concluded don't really know, because it has been like 3 years since Deku graduated UA, but Jax, say it, Evan, F you, so Deku in this story had left UA for a time. No, it doesn't have to do with AFO or anything, it was because of a war known as the 1000-year BLD War, and let's just say Deku only became a bit more powerful than ever, especially after his Zanpakuto, his sword, was broken, actually achieving the true form of his Zanpakuto down the line. And God is a mess, just show the picture of his final form. Jax, okay, so as we said, Deku is 4 races in one, and he ended up fusing his power into one, resulting into this form. So as we said, Deku is 4 races in one, and he ended up fusing his power into one, resulting into this form. He does not have orange hair. What are you talking about? Is obviously green. Deku, wow, Mina, he looks so cool. I'm guessing the different colors have to do with his power, right? Evan, his power is known as Ryatsu, but in this case he achieved what's known as Rei-Chi, which is easier, the next level of it, and is meant to be its peak. Oh yeah, BTW, he married Kendo. Smug smile. Everyone, what? Deku, Evan, I mean, Mina, I thought it was going to be the girl we saw. Evan, nah, Rukia is just Deku's best friend and she's actually like an equal for him, Kendo, so I'm married to him. Blushing, Evan, Tetsu, why I'm not impressed. Evan, me neither. Jax, oh yeah, I remembered some thingies. A quick one, clicks a button. Everyone looks at the screen as they see Deku covered in bruises as he picks up a white-haired girl with a skull-like mask on top of her head and a red line across her nose. Many recognized, but they also see another familiar face on his shoulder. Deku, we're going down this. And with all this rubble is easier to carry you down than using the stairs. Kendo, but. She starts to mess with her face and getting really flustered. Deku, is something bothering you, Kendo? Kendo, I must be really heavy for you. Deku, huh? That. Don't worry, gets ready to jump off. Dash, you're not as heavy as I expected. All of a sudden we can see Deku's face go blank as he screams out in agony as we see Eri punching his ball, making even a shockwave. Kaminari, Bakugo, Fuuk, Inko, covering Eri's eyes while feeling bad for his son. Ida, in a lot of agony and trying to not show it. Aizawa, hiding the pain in his scarf. Deku, covering his ball in pain. Deku, what hell? He looks down still in pain to see Eri, looks up to Deku and stares into his eyes. That's not how you should speak to a lady. The camera zooms into Eri's angry face. There are certain ways to tell a lady about stuff. The camera zooms even more into Eri's face. Even if she's heavy, you tell her she's light. Even if she's heavy. Kendo, PL please stop it, the right's making me sad now, saying worried over Deku who just got a nut shot. Scene cuts to black. The girls laugh about this while almost every man is in obvious pain for what they just witnessed. Deku, it hurts meth, crying comically. Evan, did you have to? Jax, I mean Imo is a funny moment but Evan, about to kick his ball. Let's find out if it's funny when it happens to you. Jax, wait no. So another part down is amazing. I continue getting more ideas for this while also being able to work on other stuff. Hope you guys liked it. CYA Ironiator Hero Shiva, 18+, warning, this part is rated 18+, not for lemon or anything, if not that is heavy on the gore, and while I don't show gore, I'm too good at describing it that I made people puke from it. You've been warned. Evan, should I? Jax, maybe, trying to recover. Evan sighs as he thinks back to this AU in particular. This one is short from messed up and not many may be able to handle it. Thesis the embodiment of brutality and mental torture for a normal human, but for the person in them, it was his normal day for him. He takes a deep breath as the memories of this AU come to him, feeling a bit of a deep sorrow on his heart as he thinks of making another room, one for Eri, Kota, and brothers to go into due to what they are about to see. Evan, Eri, Kota, Mahoro and Katsumakald, you two do me a favor. Eri, what is it, mister? Evan, I'm going to show something for adults and I made a room for you four to play while they see it. Do you guys not mind? Katsuma, oh okay. Kota, sure. Eri, yeah. Mahoro, I will. The four leave to the room and Jax goes with them to keep an eye of them in case of anything. They may be in the line connection between universes where technically no one can hurt them, but in case the kids are to try and get a peek to it. Deku, what's wrong about this? Bakugo, if you even went that far, how bad is it? Evan, takes a deep breath and presses a button revealing two different pictures. Evan, takes a deep breath and presses a button revealing two different pictures. Everyone stares into the picture seeing one thing in particular that worries them. Everyone stares into the picture seeing one thing in particular that worries them. Deku doesn't seem to be okay in either of them. This already worries many people as they just stare at it. The Deku Squad is known for being a cinnamon roll group. They're smart, have study sessions, always aiming to get good grades, and innocent. Or that's what Class 1A Thin Evan takes. Another deep breath. This still crushes my soul, but when Izuku was confirmed quirkless, nothing, and I truly mean nothing, ever had a light of happiness for him. His parents were disgusted at the fact they gave BRTH to a quirkless kid and started to treat him like trash, kicking him, beating him and tortured him to a certain degree all days and all nights, feeling nothing but pain. Everyone covers their mouths in shock as some tear up and even feel terrible for him already, but there seems to be even more to it. Evan, if it wasn't enough, the one he once called a friend started to bully him, hit him, using his explosions on him, basically using him as a punching bag. No one wanted to help him. No one wanted to see him, no one wanted to know if he was even alive. He lived like this for 10 years of his life without any signs of stopping, with heroes making a blind eye over his condition and more stuff. The older he grew, the case got worse on his house as his parents would heat up metal chains to WHP him and tie them to his body, leaving many scars across him. Obvious faces of horror are noticed in everyone present as they just continue hearing this story. Evan, one day the promised day came to him, where All Might was asked by Izuku if he could become a hero, and below that face of pain and sadness he saw someone who could become a great hero and even take his spot as symbol of peace. For the next 10 months, Izuku trained with All Might and the two slowly bonded as he opened up to him, letting him know of what was happening to him, but they opened a case the people behind it dropped after learning Izuku was quirkless, getting them fired. When the entrance exam came, Izuku was only let go by his parents because they wanted him to show how much of a failure he is in this world, and with the exam going the same as in your world. But when Izuku's entrance ballot came in, he noticed his wasn't a recording but an actual live video to find proof of what happens in his house, which ended up working, thus giving them a reason to step in and arrest his parents. Present Mike and Eraserhead got there in time with the police as they broke into the house to find his parents about to sell Izuku, so he was RPE by the person. In disgust and rage present, Mike screamed so loud he blew off the ears of the guy buying Izuku, and Eraserhead was able to stop Inko, but Hisashi escaped. They decided to take care of Izuku before anything else and took him back to UA, where he met up with All Might, who hugged him tightly, not wanting to leave him at all, while Izuku cried out the feeling of despair that had overcome him minutes ago. Most passed and things were going easy and simple, just that Bakugo had been tamed, or so he thought. Bakugo was able to obtain a picture of Hisashi working with the LOV, making him build a plan to get rid of Izuku and take his quirk for him. This was to show the picture to the class, which, Mina, there's no way we believed it right. She says with tears in her eyes. Evan presses a button. It starts showing the green-haired boy eyes reflecting a fist slowly flying towards him as an internal dialogue starts with the green-haired boy. Deku, that misery I once felt, horrible feeling of being beaten by my parents. I could only see that fist coming. As all the brutality of my past came to me, I used to drown in my own sorrow, dread, sadness, and my despair of being trapped there. Aga, and it consumed me even before I could do anything about it. I saw it coming slowly, yet I couldn't do anything about it. Uraraka, the camera shows Uraraka crying her eyes out as she has quirk-canceling cuffs and is tied up to the wall screaming Ida. It then shows Ida, whose legs are tied up with that of a straitjacket, as he tries to bite off the rope holding him back. Todoroki. We then see Todoroki being held back by chains as his fire tries to heat up as much as possible to melt them off, but they don't seem to have any effect on them. With a barrage of ice rushing to Izuku, Tsuyu, we see Tsuyu getting shocked while tied up by Kaminari as her tongue slowly falls to the ground in her attempt to get Izuku away. Momo, we see her trying to contact the teachers by her making any sort of device the teachers could use to communicate with them, tied to the wall. Tokoyami, all we can see is tears going down his face as Dark Shadow tries to rush towards Izuku but is stopped by the naval laser, explosions, and Todoroki's fire on the attempt of freeing himself. Jairu, we see her being tied up by Hagakure as she screams out for Izuku to move and hoping for her jacks to connect somewhere so that she can get noise to be produced and get the teachers here. I could simply see it, I could feel it. Me friends were really trying their best for me to be saved. Buttock clock was taken off the stock, the punch is delivered into Izuku's face, breaking his nose at the hands of an angry Kirishima. Izuku tries to stand up, but before Kirishima continues punching him, injuring him badly as he feels his bones crack and even feels his arm destroyed and getting his spine severed, making him lose complete mobility of one leg. All of a sudden an explosion is delivered to his side, destroying his kidney and heavily injuring his stomach as it pierced through him and burnt his skin, to suddenly get hit by another explosion blowing up his ear, losing complete hearing from it, and is only heard Bakugo scream, "That's what you deserve, you DMN villain." The people at the pub only stare in horror and disbelief at Izuku's condition as the three girls with Deku hug him hard. Witnessing the terrifying scenario, we then hear a discussion in the background where Mina says he's guilty of everything that has happened to them and that he has made them walk through hell, making the Mina at the bar look down, despising what she heard her other self say, especially knowing the terrible past Izuku had. Jairu then steps into the discussion saying how this is wrong even if true, but Hagakure fires back saying this is what heroes do, triggering Todoroki as he burst out in flames, telling them if there's truly a difference between heroes and villains in their eyes. Kaminari then shocks him down as he screams that whatever a hero does will always be the right thing. We then see Ida pleading for this to stop, hoping to save his friend while saying to himself that he can't let Izuku suffer much more, he doesn't want him to and isn't willing to let him suffer more. The camera that turns to Bakugo beating Izuku with Mina, Shiro, Sato, Shoji, Kirishima, Aoyama, Mineta, Ojiro, and about to also start being beaten by Hagakure and Kaminari as his body shows to be decimated. One of his legs is twisted facing backwards, the other one covered in acid as he feels it burn off, his arms are completely obliterated. Bakugo makes everyone back off as he gets to Izuku's ears and says, "Bakugo, how does it feel to go back to your place, shitty nerd? Do you like going back at it? Do you understand how much I missed using you however the hell I wanted?" He punches where Izuku's gut once was, forcing BLD to come out from Izuku's mouth without a single noise coming out from his mouth due to how injured his vocal cords are now. Bakugo backs out so that Shiro grabs Izuku with his tape and swings him into the TV, stabbing his back to the screen that is now bleeding badly. Izuku simply falls to the ground as his mouth bleeds out badly, not being able to move at all, as all he wants is to reach his friends screaming for him and trying to get people's attention to help them out. But it didn't seem to be enough at all. Bakugo screams at them as he drops the picture of Hisashi in front of Izuku, who looks at it in shock and disbelief, as he was sure he was also arrested that day, but that shock turned into pain when Bakugo kicks his right eye, almost destroying it, as he mocks Izuku for even trying while his friends scream for them to stop. This makes Bakugo mad, who charges an explosion towards them as his classmates who help him beat Izuku tell him to stop, but he doesn't care at all as he continues with his action. At this sight, Izuku's instincts kicked in as he used the control he has over black WHP to pull himself in front of the explosion and make a black WHP barrier to protect his friends, ending with him taking the blast directly and raising a cloud of smoke. The teachers arrive after taking down the door and seeing the smoke. As the smoke disperses, missing flesh exposing his muscle, his skin burnt to the point it looked like coal, a heavily damaged eye, many pierced places, a turned back leg and one which has its bone exposed. That is the condition Izuku's body was in, as he stays there in front of them with a barely visible smile. His friends simply stare in horror as they call out for him in a shaky voice as he looks at them and only says, "Is a hero study top protective Irion," falling to the ground in front of his friends, but he is quickly caught by a set-off All Might one that hates what he just witnessed and is not willing to let it slide. Scene cuts to black. Evan, this was just the beginning of Izuku's nightmare. Most of the people in the pub have tears on their faces while they wear faces of shock and pure disbelief to all they just witnessed. It was a literal massacre against one guy who, even in his worst condition, decided to save his friends. Evan, I think I will continue a bit by narrating this. After Izuku is taken to the hospital where he's treated as best as possible, the doctors tell Aizawa, All Might and Hatsum that Izuku only has 1 week left to live. His condition is still terrible and he still has his muscle exposed, filled of terrible injuries and even damage to his spine which will make him struggle a lot. Eri is a solution, but Izuku said to take in mind her mental state. Seeing Izuku in such condition would break her, especially for the severe parts of it like exposed muscle and how his chest is mostly exposed. They told him to stop thinking of that, but he brings up the how Eri would simply be disheartened for it, and even if Izuku is saved, the framing was made public, media will bash him, many will not trust him and Izuku is simply tired. Knowing this, Hatsum decides to stay with him for the rest of the week, being given permission by Nizu to stay with him while he swiftly dealt with the ones at guilt by kicking them out of UA and getting a cell in Tartarus for Bakugo and a possible execution if he doesn't reform in some way. Izuku had told All Might to give OFA to Mirio, who is still quirkless here, but without him knowing. The OFA users tried to make a quirk with the stockpile and much more to create a new quirk for him in the attempt of saving him, which ended up succeeding, him obtaining a quirk known as Nanites. For 6 months, Izuku had witnessed so much with Mirio that the day he found AFO and fought him with Mirio, which ended with him splitting him in half out of rage as he taunted his past, saying how he would have fun seeing his suffering. For the next year, Izuku has become such a serious person that rarely shows emotions, and he always kept his friends with him, but especially Hatsum, who tries to help him as much as possible. And the day Izuku graduated, Hatsum had been asked by the Shield family to go with them to work and she accepted it. This was in his advantage as now he was full-time to work on taking down his father, still covering his emotions. When the time Kamite was a nightmare, Momo was brutally murdered with the umbilical cord of her unborn child, her family was massacred, an attempt of RPE happened with Uraraka, creating her a fear for Izuku and his similarities to Hisashi, All Might passing away from his injury and the moment that shattered Izuku more than he already was. Presses a button, we see Izuku running at an inhuman speed trying to reach behind the mountains with worries being beyond his level as the glass of emotions he has is slowly being overflown and he arrives to the place just to witness the horror of the situation. Gang Orca holds on to Todoroki's, whose arm is mostly bitten off while he just stays unconscious. Hawks continues murdering the cannibals that slowly are eating the cops, with them ripping out their organs and eating them like noodles with no signs of stopping soon, while on his arms he has an Bubble Girl whose stomach is visible as she calls out for a dead centipider who got his hand bitten off. Mirko backing out with as many injured cops as possible while hitting the cannibals away, with Ida being nowhere to be found. Hisashi, ho. What do we have here? He sits down in top of a pile of corpses. Deku, he feels the world freeze as he stares at him. Hisashi, ha, don't you love to see this? He stands up from the pile of bodies as he points towards the heroes and cops. All of this heroes came for me, for you to live in peace. What a appealing joke, isn't it? Deku, his vision starts to get blurry as he stares into the monster in front of him as his eyes look around spotting something making his vision more blurry, his heartbeat rising more and more, his breath slowly